Well, good morning, everybody. It's been a long time since I made a video, probably a week or so, I don't know. Anyhow, there's been a lot going on lately in our wonderful state of Minnesota. As you may or may not have known, there was 98 of us mayors signed a letter that Mayor Jackson Purfirst wrote from the city of Cross Lake to our state legislature and the governor. Essentially calling on them to do better with our money, with the state's money, because it's yours and mine. Tax money, we know there's the new hot button item, the new hot word is fraud. There's fraud everywhere. The feds are saying potentially $9 billion in fraud now. They don't know when it'll stop. I have a hard time because I feel like no matter what you do in the political arena, if you put your name on something, you're agreeing to some sort of partisanship. Whether you're a Republican, Democrat, and you can't be anything else because there's only two parties that really matter, let's be honest, which is bullshit. I hate that. I don't know why we have to conform to the ideals of one group of people. And honestly, if you're in that position, if you're a state representative or senator, whatever you are, if it's a partisan position, oh, you like the hat, don't you? That's a custom-made birthday hat. Anyhow, back to the business at hand. If you don't do what your party thinks you should do, you're done. You won't have the support or the money to win another election. Which brings up another point. Term limits. These people it's a full-time job, basically. They're getting paid a very handsome salary for what they're doing. Not saying they shouldn't, but it's become a career for a very large portion of them. I would say the vast majority. It's their career. Our local representative here has made comments before about it. This is his livelihood. You're messing with it if you're trying to replace him. They don't do a good enough job. None of them do. Republicans, Democrats, doesn't matter. They should be more willing to help their constituents. That's why it's split up into all these districts. So we can have, like, a state representative only has to worry about his little small area or her small area. They don't have to do like the governor. He has oversight over everybody. Which leads me to another question. Who is steering this ship? Oh, pick me, I'm the captain. Anyhow, that might have been too soon. Only time will tell. The fraud is running rampant. We've all, at some point in our life, told a little fib to get something that we wanted and probably didn't deserve. Where in the hell was I going? I was there. It was called the 80s. Nixon was president and FDR was running this country into the dirt. Streets were running with lattes, and even a man who wanted to challenge the mayor's son to a gentlemanly duo was uncouth against God. Keep that in mind, folks. Gentlemanly duos are a thing of the past. Anyhow, let's get back to crazy spending. As a mayor of a small village, I like to call it a village, even though technically it's an incorporated city. But as a mayor of that, I am 1/5 of the governing body, the city council. I have no say any more than the other 4 members of my council have. It's more of a ceremonious thing, I would say. People look at the mayor as the leader of the city, or it's often thought that we have some pull, you know what I mean? We really don't. It's kind of like what they say, beauty's in the eye of the beer holder, I think, or something. Well, that's the case with mayors. So people look to us for kind of setting the mood or setting the tone, I guess. Never been very good at setting the mood. We try really hard the whole council, now the mayors aside, to be mindful of our spending. It's our tax money too. I pay the same percentage of tax as anybody else in my city. And the more we provide, as we've talked about in past videos, the more we have to pay. Well, we do get money from the state called local government aid. Some cities get it, some don't. Some get a lot, some get a little. And it's helpful because it helps offset some of the property taxes. But man, why are we so dependent on all that? Kind of like our state. Governor Walz is talking about how this administration is weaponizing the federal government against Minnesota. I don't think that's the case. Why are we so dependent on Daddy to hold our hands? This reminds me of a movie called Life. Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, great American movie. Look it up if you haven't seen it. But the warden is going around looking to find out who fathered his grandchild. And they go right down the line, and each one of them says, the pappy, I'm that baby's daddy, boss. I feel like nobody's taking ownership at any level. We have to take ownership locally. We like to blame, the tax increase, the county raised the values. The state didn't give us the money, or blah, blah, blah. When reality is, yes, the property values increase. If we leave our tax rate the same, your property tax dollars that you pay will increase. It's simple math. If we say we're going to take 50% of what we can take, and we set our levy based on that, if your values go from $100,000 to $200,000, we're taking a pile more money. Why do we need more money? The tax rate is what we focus on. I think that's backwards. I think we need to focus on the actual dollars. How many dollars do we need to provide the services you expect? And I could say in our city, we're doing pretty decent at that. All of our people, our staff, department heads, do a good job of trimming the fat, so to speak. It wasn't always like that, but for quite a while now, they've been pretty good at it. I can't speak to, with any personal experience, to how the state does things. I know it's not easy, but it's not that hard on the city level. It just takes some time. You have to go through, look at what you need versus what you have, and get rid of what you don't need. The state, I think, is too top heavy. I think there's too many programs. We're always trying to save somebody. You know what I mean? I've heard the term nanny state, and it makes good sense. Our state government, particularly in Minnesota, they hold our hands a lot. It's almost offensive how much they tell us we need them, and we believe it, folks. Most of us are like, oh, the government, they're here to help us. They're going to give us this money. They're going to take care of us, and I am owed that money. If there's a surplus, I'm owed that money. Yes and no. You shouldn't get a check back necessarily, but they should use that to even out our taxes. If there's a 18 billion or 13 billion, whatever dollar surplus, they should be easing up on how much they're taking from us each year from there on out to slowly use up that surplus. Of course I'd like a check back, but all that's going to do is put it off till next year, and they're going to be right back in the same boat. Man, this gets me fired up. Manage the money responsibly. Somewhat. You don't even have to be a professional. I'll give you room for error, even though it's my money and I don't want you to mishandle it. You get a little room for error. We all make mistakes. You might have a great idea of some new program or policy that everybody thinks is wonderful, but it may flop. And if it does, walk away from it. Don't do it again year over year thinking you're going to fix it again. I go back to COVID a lot when I'm thinking about these things. I know it's hard to take me seriously with that, isn't it? Without the hat, it's just as hard. During COVID, the government, federal and state, were giving out all kinds of handouts. The Paycheck Protection Program, it was a good idea for a lot of small businesses that couldn't be open because our leadership forced us to close our doors. And I say us, I was not. I was, what do they call them? Tier 2 essential service, because we haul the trash. Nobody wants their trash piling up. Still don't get how that's tier 2. But anyways, they forced a lot of businesses to close their doors. And our governor made that call. And it's not because he's a Democrat. It's not because he would be a Republican if he was. It's because that's what he felt was right. His people, his advisors. I think it's complete bullshit. And like I say, it has nothing to do with, I don't care what color your underwear are, folks. If you got a shit stain in there, you got a shit stain in there. That's the fact here. Purple, green, blue, orange, doesn't matter. And there's some shit stains out there. They get in the way of small business, which is the vast majority of business in Minnesota, able to make ends meet and to take care of their employees. Earned sick and safe time, another good example that came in last year. Now this coming year, January, sorry, I was looking for a calendar, in a week here, is paid family medical leave. What a bunch of shit. How is a small business supposed to manage that? If you can take months off of work and then you have to get your job back when you come back, and I'm not saying that that shouldn't be an option, but it should be up to the employer to offer such benefits. And if you don't want the job you have, if your benefits aren't what you want, it's a free world, folks. Go look for a better job. I like to try and take care of my people. If their car breaks down, I want to help them. If they're short on Christmas money, whatever the case, I want to take care of my people like they're my family. Now, when the state comes in and they tell me how I'm going to take care of my family, I don't like that. It ends up costing them and myself more because it takes less of my empathy away and says, nope, sorry, the state tells me this is what you're getting. I can't afford, in a small business, can't afford to have 2 extra staff members, let's say even 1, just sitting around in the corner waiting to go in. You know, this isn't the Vikings where you could pay millions of dollars to have a quarterback that nobody's ever heard of sit on the bench just in case. We don't have that opportunity. And if we all have to start doing that, the cost of services are going to increase because we have to pay for it somehow. Way to go. Way to get me on that. This is all the reason I signed that letter that Mayor Purfer signed or wrote. These are the things that affect me personally and members of my city. You have a small city, not quite 2,500 people, except for in the summer that seems to be about 75,000. That's another thing. A lot of people come up from the metro area to take advantage of our area. Some people want to change it. You know, a lot of the people that come up here want to change the way things are done. But they come here because they love the way it is. So don't try and change it, folks. Just try and love it. Try and respect it. Leave it better than when you got here. When you go home for the weekend, pick up your trash. There's trash haulers everywhere. You can't throw a rock without hitting a garbage truck in our area. And most populated areas are like that. We keep going to garbage trucks and government. What haven't we covered yet? Guns. We haven't covered those yet. And because of new state mandates, I can't afford new gun Thursday or Wednesday or Friday, whatever we decided last time. We can't afford it anymore. We're going to have to just clean our old ones and pretend they're new. Thanks, Mr. Walls. Sorry, had to do a wardrobe change. Wandeer, folks. Wandeer. Reminds me of an old friend of mine that I met on a prison farm in Georgia. It was back in the 40s, named Jangalang. That's how he pronounced it. Anyways, we're getting off topic. Did I say good morning yet? I apologize if I hadn't said good morning. You know where good morning comes from for me? My grandmother used to say that all the time. So much so that her answering machine at her house said good morning. For some reason, it just stuck with me. Now it's all the time. That's my greeting. Back to Wandeer. I love Wandeer. Can't take myself seriously when I wear this shit. So the moral of the story here from today is try and be an honest person. You know, just don't take what's not yours. And if you do, if you really need something, if you really need it, return it or pay it back double. I'm not saying you should steal, but there are, you never know. You might wind up in the middle of nowhere on a mountain, or there's a cabin and you get a can of soup out of there or something. Just make sure you take care of the person for it. Don't take my soup. I get a little angry about that. Anyways, take care of yourselves, take care of your friends, your family, your neighbors. And don't just take the government's word for it. Ask questions, hold them accountable. Show up to you. Start locally. Start with your city councils, your township board of supervisors, your county commissioners. Go to their meetings. If nothing else, send them an email, give them a call. Honestly, most of them want to talk to you. Most of them want you to ask questions. And if they don't, get rid of them. Find somebody who's willing to do the work to answer the questions. I urge every one of you to attend one meeting. Just one. Go to your local government meeting. Just sit and listen. Maybe even get up and speak. Introduce yourself. Just say, "Hi, I'm Larry, and I want to see what you guys do with my money." Just be honest. But be respectful. You know, they are you, remember. They're not the big boogeyman. They have faces and names, and you probably know them or see them in your community. We're talking small town, of course. I mean, I can't speak for how the big cities operate. I imagine they got bouncers and security guards lined up. I know I would need it. I kind of need bouncers right now. Got dogs and feral cats trying to get at me all the time. It's sickening. Anyhow, like I said, take care of your people. And keep an eye on where the money goes. And just ask questions. Toodaloo.